hello and welcome to another week of Soap Secrets. We're going to start with Corrie because I don't like to break with tradition. We always start with Coronation Street, it seems to me. And we've got to talk because Sally Dinver, who plays Sally in Coronation Street, is one of the first contestants to sign up for Dancing on Ice. So there you go.
Yes, she is. I think that's going to be that generally starts in January. That's after Christmas, New Year kind of programming.
It's a brave woman. It's a brave woman that does that or a brave man, because I think that's by far one of the most dangerous reality shows out there, other than The Jump, which of course was canned. But yeah, just, ice skating like that's hard work, isn't it?
Who can forget Todd Carty when he sort of...
Oh yes, that's so funny.
Wasn't very good, was he? And he sort of skated off, and they turned him around and shoved him back on again when he didn't dare move.
Absolutely brilliant. Oh dear. So going back to the street, it's the blame game this week, isn't it? Because terrible events and big Super Soap week, of course.
So when this podcast is released, of course. The events, the horrific events of the storm night are still playing out on screen. So there's not much I can say, Hannah, because I know you're going to be watching it, and I don't want to ruin your pleasure. I don't want to give anything away, but it is really, really good. So obviously, David feels guilty for not getting the sinkhole fixed because Leo breaks the news to him that had he got it repaired earlier, Hannah, the catastrophe might not have happened. That must be really quite something to deal with, because it was 7 people down that sinkhole at one point, so there was a lot going on. And we have Dev. Dev was still struggling with his guilt when he had to make that Sophie's choice over which twin to go for first, who was in the most danger. That's a hard thing for a parent to do. And I will just say this one thing, and I can't say anything else. More tragedy hits the street. Just what is going on?
Not more tragedy. It's like Super Soap Week's continuing. Okay. And in the effort to get Corrie convicted, obviously for the murder of Seb, Asha and Nina get an unexpected lead. Yes.
So we all know that Corrie is the murderer of Seb, but poor Kelly is languishing in prison after the jury found her guilty. So Asha and Nina determined to see justice done, and Asha spots the homeless man Stu wearing a Weatherfield County backpack. Now, where did he get this from? Because this is obviously the football team's backpack, and they don't give them out just because they're bored. So he obviously found it somewhere, and so they question him, and he reveals he found it, and Asha is absolutely sure that it's Corrie's backpack from the night of the murder. So they speak to some of his homeless friends by the riverbank and manage to track Stu down because he ran off, because he doesn't want to get involved, Stu. He thinks he'll be in trouble, that people will think he stole this backpack. He's a homeless man. He just doesn't want to get involved. So they manage to track him down again. But will he help Asha and Nina? And just what is in the backpack? Is there something, a crucial piece of evidence that can help Kelly, Hannah?
Wow. Well, I'm going to say yes, there is. I'm just going to put it out there. I feel like I'm getting, never used to be a betting woman, but I am now. Now I've done this for enough time. Moving on. Emmerdale. In the Dales, there's obviously some, big events last week, and questions are asked by the police, and DS Rogers is investigating. And
yes,
there's big information here. An arrest is made.
Yes, an arrest is made. We don't know.
You're not going to tell me who, though, are you? You're not going to tell me.
I can't tell you who's arrested. But the other thing is, what we really want to ask is, have they arrested the right person?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we know there was a murder, but and since currently there's four people that have killed in the village, quite frankly, anyone could be guilty. And yes. So DS Rogers is investigating, but is the evidence pointing him in the right direction, or has he gone off piste?
Probably. Again, I'm not a betting woman, but I have become one. Also, it's the final hurrah for Diane, isn't it, this week?
Yes. Elizabeth Estenson leaves the village.
I know. I can't believe that.
I know. She's been there for 22 years. 22 years.
Yeah,
So, for me, I would have liked Diane to have some handsome silver fox whisker off to Portugal and say, come live with me in my big villa.
Yeah.
And we'd all go, Diane, go. It's going to be warm and you're going to have, a lovely, lovely island kitchen and a pool and,
Oh, but there's loads of drama though, isn't there? It's not going to be a smooth exit.
No. So she's planning to flee to Portugal with her daughter Bernice and her pregnant granddaughter Gabby. Now, Gabby needs to get away from the clutches of evil Kim, who's gone, who wants control of Gabby's unborn baby, her grandson. So she wants to bring Millie up, lovely Millie, her granddaughter, by Andrea and Jamie. And obviously she I think Jamie is no Kim, and I think she's a bit disappointed with him. So I think she wants to do better with the second generation, Hannah. I think this is her plan.
Yeah.
She wants an heir from one of these two that will take over.
The trouble is, it's also toxic, isn't it? It's just like a sort of, this never-ending cycle of evilness in a way, isn't it? Which I suppose is what it's all about.
Yes. So Gabby doesn't want her unborn baby brought up by Kim. So Diane's leaving. She and Pollard share a tender moment, and Pollard offers to buy Diane's half of the B&B, so she's got loads of money to buy a nice place in Portugal. Chaz wants to throw the former Woolpack landlady a farewell party. She was landlady of the Woolpack, so she needs to say goodbye to the pub. But Gabby has a final run-in with Kim and tells her she won't be part of the baby's life, and Kim doesn't react well to this. So they all have to, the escape plan suddenly becomes really urgent. It has to be moved up, and it's a soap, Hannah. So a birth is never straightforward.
Yeah, of course it doesn't. Well, I mean, nothing goes straight forward as to plan, does it?
No. So she's lugging she's very heavily pregnant. She's lugging a suitcase down the stairs. She cries out in pain, falls to the floor and goes into labour. Now, she's at home farm. All of a sudden, the lights go out because there's a power cut.
Oh, no.
And her mobile phone dies.
It's a catalogue of error. It's a perfect storm.
And because there's a power cut, the landline won't work either, because your phone doesn't work now, does it, without electricity? So, will anyone hear her cries for help?
Well, probably not. Will she have a home birth? Will she be unconscious and Kim come along and take the baby? I mean, there's a multitude of storylines here that even I can dream up. Should employ me as a scriptwriter, frankly. Wow. Okay, so it's all go. I mean, they're not letting it go, are they? After Super Soap Week, they're kind of, they're keeping the high octane right up there.
Yeah, they wanted to do a nice goodbye for Diane, so they wanted to have this kind of drama-driven storyline as her farewell. So it's a good one.
Excellent. Okay, now Hollyoaks. New start for Tony and Diane. I mean, I sort of feel like that whole storyline's gone relatively quiet in terms of she's clearly not well and isn't really recovered, but that's kind of just been pushed to one side. And they're now running the dog, which is this sort of this fresh start. But of course, things aren't going well.
No, because Fergus, who owns the dog, pushed the McQueens out, and you don't cross the McQueens. And they're upset about obviously being thrown out, and they start waging war. So these aren't bad online reviews. That's quite an easy one to do. But I love Nana. I love Nana McQueen. She cuts the electricity, Hannah. You've got to give her credit, haven't you?
She's just brilliant, isn't she? Brilliant.
Yeah. I don't quite know how you do that without electrocuting yourself. But anyway, do you remember Diane's friend Becky? When Diane was just after she'd given birth and she was in hospital, and she was going to the hospital for postnatal depression and stuff, she met Becky outside of the hospital, and Becky approached her. Becky approached Diane. Diane didn't approach Becky, and they struck up a friendship and they made friends. Now, Becky is a tower of strength for Tony throughout all of this hoo-ha in the dog. And she organises a piece in the Chester Herald for free publicity and to get people to come along and try the food. But the piece is run in the Chester Herald, and Tony and Becky are listed accidentally as man and wife.
Oh.
What is Becky up to?
What is Becky up to?
That's interesting, isn't it? We knew
it is.
It's because we had to wait a long time for that, because Becky's been in for a good couple of months, and she's
simmering.
And we knew she'd be up to something because she approached Diane.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's sort of Sienna stories in the background because she's obsessed with getting justice for Brodie, which is, understandable.
Yes, she is.
But at what cost, basically, I suppose, is the question.
Well, it's going to be the cost of our sanity and perhaps somebody else's life. So we know that it was Warren, and but she doesn't know that, and nobody else knows that. And she's turned her home into a police station, really. She's got a crime board and newspaper clippings. She's doing all this deduction. And she decides poor Nate is the culprit this week. And she's determined to avenge Brodie. She gets into a car and prepares to run him over. Can anyone stop her killing the wrong man?
Oh, no. She's going to get it wrong, isn't she? She's turned, police inspector, and it's just not good. Oh, dear. Okay. Right. Last but not least, EastEnders. We know that Maisie Smith, who plays Tiffany, has filmed her last scenes in the soap, haven't we?
Yes. I just thought I'd mention that, Hannah, because I mentioned Maisie Smith was leaving, and I said perhaps she would have a Christmas or a pre-Christmas, exit. So, they have to have loads in the bag. So if you're filming your last scenes round about now, you're looking at a Christmas time episode. So yes. And I thought this was quite interesting because, we are expecting a big exit for Maisie. I wouldn't expect anything less. And she joined in 2008 when she was 6, Hannah, 6.
6, wow. What's she going on to do?
I think maybe she wants to try Hollywood.
Ah. Well, they all do, don't they? Mind you, there are people before her, Patsy Palmer. There are plenty before that have got, but you've got to be something pretty special. So, I say pretty special. I mean, she is, but what I mean is to break that kind of, it's hard work, isn't it?
Yep. So
wow. Okay.
It's going to be a big wrench for her because she grew up on the soap, didn't she? If you join a soap when you're 6, you've grown up on it.
Absolutely. Also, some pretty major news this week because Stacey's back in the square because she's been released from prison. Yes. So Ruby's gone because Louisa Lytton is pregnant, and Stacey's back from, or Lacey Turner is back from maternity leave. So Stacey's back in the square, having been released from prison after Ruby set her up. The kids are really pleased to see her. Jean, her mum, is delighted. She's been going to visit her and really championing her. And Martin, after all the hoo-ha with Ruby, is having romantic thoughts again about Stacey. I think it was difficult because, Lacey Turner became pregnant, and I don't think the writers would have split Stacey and Martin up had she not needed to leave for a year. Yeah, absolutely. And because Stacey and Martin are a good East End couple and they work well together, so who knows where that's going to be. But of course, there is never any, a return is not without drama. And Stacey drops a bombshell, Hannah, a big bombshell. Yeah, what's the bombshell?
I can't say.
You can't tell her. I knew it. I can't do anything, folks. I'm sorry. She's not going to tell me. Okay, the bombshell. I'm trying to guess what it could be. Well, she's certainly not interested in Martin, of that I'm certain. Is she pregnant? She got pregnant in prison.
She was in a women's prison.
But she's not the only one that would be pregnant if she was, because, of course, Chelsea blurts out that she's pregnant.
Yes. She asked Kim to help her tell her mum Denise. Chelsea's a woman over 30. You'd think she'd be able to say to her mum,
exactly.
Hey, I'm pregnant.
No, you need to just tell your mum. That's a pretty sad state of affairs, isn't it, if you can't at that age?
Yes. She's not like she's 16.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but Denise always has a lot to say about a lot of things, so I'm sure she'd give her daughter what for. But, Denise is, Kim is lovely. I love Kim, and this week, the week gets tougher for Kim. Not only does she have to face down her sister and support her niece, but she finally learns her husband Vincent is dead. And she has to tell her daughter Little Pearl the news. It's really, really sad. I don't quite know where this is going. I don't know why they've suddenly decided to announce that Vincent is dead. The fans on Twitter believe that Vincent isn't dead. Of course, Richard Blackwood is in Hollyoaks at the moment, but that doesn't mean anything, does it? Who knows? They could always recast.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it wouldn't be a first, would it?
No, I did think that Richard Blackwood and, you know, as Vincent and Kim, they were a great couple. They worked really, really well together. So it was a shame. I thought it was a shame when he left.
No, absolutely. And there's some more shock news in the square, isn't there?
This is a big shock. This is another big... We can't say what this shock is.
Go on then. Spill.
Sharon and Zach and Martin. And Sharon's been nice to Zach and Martin. And she takes them out for dinner. And when they return home, they find a surprise on their doorstep. What do you think the surprise is, Hannah?
Bunch of flowers.
It's a baby. It's a bit like 3 Men and a Baby, this.
Who's the daddy?
A 1-year-old baby with the note, Elisa is yours, please take care of her. Well, there's 3 of them standing there, so we're going to rule Sharon out because I'm guessing she would remember if she'd have given birth. So that leaves Zach and Martin. Now, who is the father then? Heartbreaker Zach or family man Martin?
Oh, what's your bet?
Well, you know, this is a soap, so I'm going for Martin.
I was about to say the obvious is Zach, but it's more likely to be Martin, isn't it? Well, maybe EastEnders are upping the ante all of a sudden with their storylines. Wow. I mean, I think every week's Super Soap Week, to be honest with you, Claire. It just seems to be never-ending, high-octane, brilliant stuff. But thank you, as always, for all the gossip. And we will be back next week with more. And next week, I will try even harder to squeeze even more information out of Claire and Victoria. See you then.